Hey everybody, we are back with another installment of Grimtooth Old School Traps. I am Michael Curtis, and with me is,
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Doyle.
and we're going to dive into five of our favorite traps from the Grimtooth Old School Traps available from Goodman Games for both 5th edition and DCC. So, Chris, we'll start off with yours, because we have the 5e version of Old School Traps in front of us, and you are actually going back into Greek myth
I
for your.
am. I am. One of my favorite traps is called Achilles Shield. This is one of the item traps. First of all, I love the play on words for the name of the trap, Achilles Shield, which is awesome. So basically, this is a shield that your adventurer can get, in any treasure hoard or whatever. And it's perfectly functioning field and a shield, and you could even have it be a magic shield if you really wanted to be cruel. But there's a 2 inch by 2 inch piece in the middle of it that's like weak and moved out, and if somebody rolls a critical miss actually against you, they actually plunge their spear or the arrow goes right through it, and then it hits you with like a critical attack and everything. So it's one of those. It's definitely playing the long game, but it's just kind of really cool. You can see the awesome artwork there, a little bit of the homage to the Three Stooges,
Three
which is awesome.
Stooges, you know.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with that.
No, not at all.
And it's really cool. There's a really neat little sidebar kind of on giving a backstory on like why this thing could come into play. So and why it could exist. So yeah, that's one of my favorite item traps, the Achilles Shield.
And that is an item trap. So the next one we're going to go to a room trap. And this is another play on words. I'm sensing a theme here. And this one is.
The Trolls Bridge work. And I really this one's really cool. Again, not a particularly deadly trap, but essentially it's a and it can also work in a corridor in addition to a room. It's basically a metal bridge going across a span. And as you get to the center of it, you trigger it and it starts folding up. And I love that the three-panel artwork to kind of show you the stages of the trap. Whenever they did that in this book, I really enjoyed that. The whole kind of like a comic panel of like what's going to happen. So basically, you hit the pressure plate and it starts folding up on you. And then we threw some rules in there so you can make some dexterity and acrobatics checks to try and get onto the outside of the trap, which might sound good that you're now on the not trapped in it, except for the fact that, there's probably acid or something nasty underneath it. And then there's either a variant that will lower you down into the acid. So, it might not be a bad thing that you're on the inside of it, but it could also be a really not good thing if you're hanging out on top of it.
Right.
So,
we,
I actually got to play test this one, and it was so much fun.
we
So,
say it's not lethal, but everything lethal in the hands of a right game master. All right. So
yes.
cover two of my favorites. I'm going to go to the DCC version of Grimtooth's old school traps. And for this one, the very first one is I grew up watching the old Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan traps with my dad as a kid, the old black and white one. So I have to go with the Greystoke Memorial. And the Greystoke
Yes.
Memorial, because this trap would have got me as a kid. The adventurers are going along and they see like a big rope and there's a pit, filled with acid or lava or whatever. And, okay, well, hey, we got a rope. We can swing right across. No problem. No worry about making, having a feet climb walls or anything. Of course, basically the rope is basically on a bungee cord. So as soon as you get out there, it gets to a point, the rope gets longer and you slam into the wall on the far side of the pit and then probably fall into the lava, acid, and whatsoever. So
Yeah. And
sometimes.
that would be enough. Like just hitting the wall would be bad enough, except for the fact that you can have like crossbows then shooting out, like triggering. It's like, just taking it to the next level.
Exactly, exactly. And there are a lot of convoluted traps in here, which is why for the door trap, my favorite is actually it's very, very simple. And this one is simply called the 2x4 headache. And what that is literally you open the door and a 2x4 covered with spikes slams down and hits you right in the face. So there's nothing complex about this. It's just, I mean, sometimes a baseball bat in the face tells you it's time to slow down. So, yeah, you
Yep.
know,
Sometimes simplicity is the best way to go.
exactly. And this is like the perfect thing after you've hit the party with like a really convoluted trap. Then they're really paranoid. They're looking for all the gears and everything, but sometimes it's just literally a board with spikes in the face. And so Chris and I, we discovered that there's one we both like. So we're gonna
Yes.
wrap things up with this one. And this one is the spider web fuse trap. And that
Yes.
is everything that you've thought of. I think it might be. So
Yes.
If you're, how many times if you were an old school gamer or you played with old school gamers or you're just smart, you encounter a room filled with cobwebs, you know there's a giant spider in there. You have a torch or lantern or something, right? Yeah, right.
Yep, flick my Bic and just light it on fire.
Exactly. Except at this point, the spider isn't actually a spider. It is basically a big paper mache dummy filled with high explosives. So you set the webs on fire. They're actually fuses, and the giant spider explodes, killing you and all your friends. So,
Yes. It
so
is definitely one of the classic ones when I first remember this book back from the old days. It's one of the images that comes right to mind, the artwork, and I'm like, I'll always remember this trap because of that, that awesome artwork. So yes, love it.
So that's 5 out of 150 traps. So, I mean, it's hard to pick our favorites, but if these aren't our favorites, I'm sure you have your own. So,
Yep. You have 145 other ones to pick from. So
so go out, get yourself a copy of Grimtooth's Old School Traps in whatever flavor, and leave a comment here. Just tell us what your favorite trap was and how you intend to use it on your beloved players.
yes, and don't forget to give us a like and give us a subscribe if you love these videos and you want to find out more about our awesome books. This way you'll get notified when we drop new content. Thanks, everybody.
And we'll be back with another look at some adventures in Before You Know It. Now, bye everyone.
Bye.